The trick to building a qualified email list is saying no. No to the people who won't buy. No to the people who can't buy. And no to the people who will be pain in the clients. And in this video today, I'm going to show you how to build a list and qualify your leads using webinars in 3 simple steps. Stay tuned. It's the Webinar Marketing Show. Hi, and welcome to the tutorial. I'm Owen, video host of the Webinar Marketing Show. And if it's your first time here, say hello by clicking the like button below. Your list is the cornerstone of any digital marketing campaign. And at minimum, your list consists of a name and an email. Now, a good list might feature more information like a phone number or a job profession, but at a bare minimum, you need to have a name and an email for the person that you're trying to follow up with. Now, it's important to note here that your list is not your leads, okay? If you have a list of 1,000 people, it would be ridiculous to say that you have 1,000 leads. You don't. You have a name and an email of someone who might possibly be interested in what it is that you're offering. So once you have a list, now you need to create a strategy to qualify that list and turn them into leads. Does that make sense? Yes. Yeah? Yes. So how do you get your list of people to raise their hands and say that they are in fact leads? Well, that brings us to step number 1, which is create recurring webinars. Now, a webinar is simply an online presentation. You can call it a masterclass, you can call it a workshop, or you can simply call it a webinar. So here's the strategy to build your list. First, I want you to plan a series of webinars that happen every other week. Each webinar should cover a different topic on which you are the expert. Then each week, I want you to promote the webinar using Facebook or whatever social media platform where you're the most engaged. Now, why are you doing 5 webinars? I'm going to come back to that in just a quick second, okay? It's really, really important, so stick around. But here's the real thing that I want you to grab a hold of. Don't post a link to the webinar just yet. Instead, just make a series of Facebook posts using images, animated GIFs, or even that big block letter writing to announce that you have a webinar coming up and let people know, say, hey, if you want to get more information or if you want to be invited to this webinar, then leave a comment down below and I'll personally invite you. Then when they respond in the comments, what you'll do is you'll send them an instant message and invite them to the webinar. This is really important for pre-qualifying your leads, okay? Because everybody and anybody wants free information, right? Right. So what you have to avoid doing is building this list of freeple. Freeple are those people that just want your offer because it's free. You got to make them work a little bit for it, okay? And so that's why you want to first announce that you're doing a webinar, but then require that they leave a comment down below and then reach out to them again, have a conversation with them and get their email. Once you get their email, you're going to manually add them to your list. I know, it's brilliant. In fact, we've generated over 70 leads just this week following this exact same process. And it's only Tuesday. Okay, so now that you have your list, it's time to actually qualify your leads. And I'm going to show you how to do that right now. But first, you need to know about ClickMeeting, the only webinar software you'll ever need. With ClickMeeting, you can schedule, promote, and automate your online webinars with any pricing plan. You'll get unlimited landing pages for your webinars, a waiting room, and a custom webinar broadcasting room where you can add a presentation, add pre-recorded video, share your screen, and even stream to YouTube and Facebook. You can get started now for free when you visit the link that's in the description box below and click this button here to start your free trial. Okay, so now it's time to qualify your leads, and that's where the webinar comes in. Now, I do have another video that goes very deep into this topic, and I'll post a link to that video in just a minute. But here's the gist of how to pre-qualify your leads inside of your webinar. It has everything to do with the way that you present your webinar. So step 2 is to structure your webinar to pre-qualify your leads. Here's how you do that. First, focus on one big problem. This usually relates to some manner of health, finances, or relationships. Then relate to the audience with 3 symptoms of that problem. Now, these 3 symptoms are going to be how you qualify your leads. The goal here is that if someone is not experiencing these 3 symptoms, then they can recognize that they are not a good fit for this webinar and they'll log off. Now, I know what you're thinking. At first, you're thinking, I don't want people logging off my webinar, but this is how you pre-qualify your leads. Look, you don't want somebody staying with you for an entire hour or 45 minutes if they're not a good buyer of your product. You want to give them every opportunity to log out of the webinar so that you're only speaking to those people who can buy your product or service. I'm going to come back to this in just a minute. Now, after you've gone through these 3 points, it's time for you then to explain your solution and make your offer. This is how you close your leads to sale. Now, in the beginning of this video, I mentioned that you're going to want to do a 5 webinar series. And you might be wondering, why do I have to do 5? Well, the reason is because many of your attendees are going to drop off because they aren't interested in topic number 1. But they may, however, be very interested in topic number 2. The fact of the matter is you don't know which topic of webinar is going to convert them best until you just start doing the webinars. So commit to 5. And at the end of doing 5, you'll have 5 different results from 5 different topics, and you can choose which one best converts your leads to sale. Similarly, with ClickMeeting, you can save these webinars and use them again as evergreen or on-demand webinars to create a cycle that is automated and creates for you a steady stream of leads every single week. So now that you've got a list and a systematic approach for qualifying your leads, it's time to create a webinar structure that will close them to sale each and every time. And that's a topic I cover in this video right here. So click this link to continue your education. I'm Owen Video for ClickMeeting, and I'll see you there.